I never get tired of that song. I just, you know what? That's AI. Can you believe that's AI? Suno AI to be specific. It used to be Suno.ai. Now it's Suno.com. But they make music with you typing in a few keystrokes, and you tell it what you want and the style you want it in. And amazingly, it just makes magic. I have so many songs that I've created, and my buddy created one. His hit, the one that his family likes the most, is Pizza Farts. Yeah, I didn't pick the music, he did, but at the same time, what an amazing ability to create something that is so awesome, even though, well, even though it's not, what do you call? Hold on a sec. I know there's a problem here. Problem here. Hang on a second. We're fixing. There we go. I don't know if you could hear anything before, but we were having a problem because I didn't plug the cable all the way in. It was what I planned on doing, but didn't do. Anyway, I love that song. I hope you heard it. What I was saying is that my partner made a song using it when I first introduced him to Suno.ai or Suno.com now, and he made a song called Pizza Farts that his kids were singing around the house forever. And Exclusive says could never tell it's AI. It's amazing, and they keep improving it along the way. Like it was amazing to start with when I was first introduced to it, and it's just getting better every day. It's something I pay for, and I absolutely love. It's so much fun. I have made songs for my kids' friends. Like this is not an advertisement for them. I just happen to really appreciate the awesomeness of that app. And it's web based. They have an app too. Anyway, hours of fun. Uh, yeah, yeah. Some cool stuff for you today. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And I do it here on the internet 5 days a week. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m., on Tuesdays and on Thursdays at 9 p.m., because we're trying to make sure everybody gets a chance to ask questions live, and not everybody has the same schedule. Summertime, however, is going to be amazing because that's when most people, at least the folks that I really want to talk to, the younger folks, the new drivers, they're off from school, so they're going to have a different schedule. So we're going to try and make the best time for them. So the schedule may change at some point, but for the time being, it's staying just where it is. Let's see here. Crystal says, "Hey, Londoner here. My question is, why aren't police enforcing issues about brake lights? Crystal's come close to smashing into people due to the lack of lights." We're going to talk about that in just a few moments. Just want to acknowledge a few people in the room before we get to your question. But we will absolutely answer questions. That's what the show is all about. It's a show that is based on your questions. Akela Draconis with a good morning, or sorry, greetings and salutations. How dare I say anything other than that when referring to the great Akela Draconis? Paul says, "Good morning, all." Welcome, Paul. And then Nicholas has to wait for Nicholas question time. Dad jokes are coming in, and I'm going to log those. Uh, log those for later. Dre Studios says, "Sorry, who are you? What? Dre is a friend who is in the racing business and the airplane business now. Anyway, he knows who I am. I think he's suggesting I should have introduced myself, or he's just making fun of me. Either way, good to have you here. Johnny Nguyen, good morning, Sean. Good morning to you too. He's coming in from X. More dad jokes to flag. Here we go. Okay, we got Randy who says, "Good Monday morning, folks. All the best from the Forest City." Morning, Randy. Good to see you here. We've got the Star Wars dad joke and a quote for later. Awesome. Those are all flagged. Yeah, if you've got dad jokes, please share them. Love the dad jokes. Okay. Exclusive says, "Good morning. How is your day going so far? Hope all is well." It is amazing. It is Monday. The whole school process went well this morning. Everybody was on time. That was pretty awesome. That's part of the routine. It's taking care of the kids, making sure that they get to where they got to go in the morning, and then come back and prep for the show. So that happened it was flawless. It was flawless. Lunches were made, snacks were prepared. I was impressed. And Trey says, "Just messing with you. Hope all is well." Yeah, I was confused. I was worried about you medically if you were forgetting who I was. Anyway, one of the things that Dre and I have been trying to work together to produce is a track day, a go-kart track day, where we pit professional racers against police officers. Who would win in that race? Maybe we'll have some of our regulars jump into that. So we've been talking about it for like 2 years now, and this year I think is the year we're finally going to do it. Actually, I was talking to the folks at K1 Speedway, or K1. I just messed up the name. K1. Yes, they're at Downsview Base, and they're interested in doing it. They want to get involved, so I'm really, really excited to do that. Okay, Dave Ginden. I mispronounced your name, Ginden. Why am I? Tell me how to pronounce your name. Darn it. Good morning, Sean. In your career, have you ever dealt with a sovereign citizen, and what was the outcome? Very interesting question, because we have someone who is Norman, who's over on TikTok, who's been sending me all sorts of stuff supporting the sovereign citizen stuff and Black's Law book and maritime law and admiralty law. And I've been doing some reading this morning because of him. But have I dealt with them? Yeah, I've dealt with them in custody. I've dealt with them being pulled out of cars because they haven't wanted to follow the law, because they don't believe the laws are appropriate or fit. And a lot of people, putting paper plates with license plate information. I do not need a license, bananas. Listen, they have beliefs that they're strongly tied to. I want to read about them because I'm so interested to know how people have convinced them that the law of whatever year their books are written is applicable today. Because the law is a living thing; it changes constantly. The law of yesterday may have been the law then, but has not continued to be the law now. Time has past. I listen. I don't even know if it's opinion books that they're reading, if it's fiction books. I don't know, but I absolutely will read about stuff just to find out where they're at. Not that I buy into it. And let's see here. Oh, I missed a comment earlier about exclusive saying, no way, it's so catchy. Yeah, it's good. It's so good and catchy. Waddell Engineering, what's going on? Okay, let's go back to Crystal's question about why are police enforcing issues about brake lights. So they are, but they are not focused on brake lights alone. They're looking for any violation that leads to risk on the road, and they have to see it. So if a vehicle doesn't have taillights when it's on the road, I would have always pulled them over had I seen them, and I pulled over many. Those were often the impaired drivers. They didn't turn their headlights on because they were too drunk to figure out that there was a switch they had to press, and they just forgot. They were drunk. Not their fault. It's their fault. But then there's people who don't know how to use cars, that they borrowed the vehicle, or people who have done what I've done in the past, which is taking the vehicle to the mechanic shop. I always have it in automatic. They turned automatic off while they were working in the car. I got in the car and didn't bother to check. So I drove with my headlights off until the last time I remember it was when I was yelling at somebody or honking at them to tell them that their lights were off. And when I looked down, I realized that my lights were also off. So while I was talking to one idiot, I was also an idiot. But that was a long time ago. Yeah. That's the first thing you should do when getting in your vehicle. And I was just recording episode or chapter 2 last night of the wonderful driver's handbook, where I read this handbook to anyone who wants to listen to the handbook spiel. So I was reading it, and they were talking about the whole full headlight system, parking headlight. Who puts parking lights on? Why would anyone just use parking lights? We're not trying to conserve electricity here. We just need to have our full headlighting system on 24/7. Why isn't that just an automatic thing? I don't understand why there's even a switch anymore. Maybe there's a button and you have a big red flag that disables your dashboard, and it says, car is being worked on, mechanic doesn't want to be blinded, and I get that. But otherwise, there's no reason not to have your headlight system on at all times. Oh, Josh Vader has a Star Wars joke. Just going to put this in here so I don't forget it. I don't want to forget it. Okay, posting that. And another dad. Okay, there we go. Oh, a question on firearm stuff. We'll talk about that in a second. All right, back to the Crystal question of why aren't they doing it? So they do it when they see it. I don't understand why it's still an issue, but it is. And the real reason is, or an additional reason is, there's not enough cops on the road, and when they are on the road doing enforcement, they are focused on speeding, distracted driving, aggressive driving, and of course impaired driving, and then everything else is secondary. So if they notice it, they deal with it, but they're focused on things that are approaching them at high speed. They're not focused on the taillights when they're just they're not positioned for that. The enforcement duties tend to deal with someone standing facing the front of the vehicle. Just saying. There could be more, there should be more, I hope to be more, but we need more cops. Tom, thanks for the follow. Tom says, when do we pay for our parking tickets again? When do we pay? Generally speaking, tickets need to be paid within 15 days or you file a response. I've never worked in parking enforcement. I don't recall what the parking enforcement spiel is, if it's the same as regular tickets, but Generally speaking, we say you have, was it 10 days to respond? Now I'm forgetting that. But I think it's 15 days. Maybe it's 10 days. It says on the back of the ticket. And now I want to go look at an old ticket book to see what it says. But you should deal with it promptly because you don't want your process to continue without you being involved in it. In other words, if you don't respond, they're going to process you and just find you guilty for lack of response, convict you. Then you won't be able to renew your spiel. You won't be able to renew your license plates because those what's it called? Parking tickets impact your ability to renew your license plate. Okay. 4 new messages. Where are we here? Crystal says, I'm a first-time car owner, 1 year. Well, welcome to the world of car ownership and all the costs that are involved in it. Paul says, 51st state. I don't know if you're suggesting you're for it or against it, but this is not a political show. We are talking about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And there's people on both sides of that conversation that are elbows up or elbows down or elbows to the side. I don't know. Let's see here. Tom says, I'll listen about it. When I've lost that. Which was your? Oh, okay. The parking. There we go. Okay. Mr. Inked Canada says beard is looking on point, as the young ones would say, and I am. I appreciate you. I keep questioning. Is it long enough? Do I start like trimming now? I'm experimenting. This is the in between post police agency beard look, and I've never had it this long. Definitely never had it this long. But I am trying to figure out my beard future. But thank you very much. I'm glad that you approve. Johnny, thank you for the gift. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Toe King 420 says they should be focusing on crime. I take it you're talking about the police officers who are enforcing the Highway Traffic Act, those people who are putting lives at risk, the drivers who are breaking the law, who are speeding, driving aggressively, driving distracted, and driving impaired. You think we should focus on crime? Like what kind of crime? More people are negatively impacted by the actions of drivers who are doing dumb stuff on the road. That there's more death and destruction because of driving than all violent crime put together. Shootings are terrible. More people are impacted by driving. Communities are more impacted by driving than they are burglaries. It's sad, but it's true. There's a lot of risk out there on the road, and traffic enforcement is not appreciated nearly enough. What we need to do, and if you want police to focus on other stuff, we need to automate everything. Maybe we should make it so cars cannot go faster than the posted speed limit in the area that they're driving in. Maybe people shouldn't be allowed to drive and it should be all autonomous because people tend to make really bad decisions behind the wheel. They do stuff that are selfishly motivated. They all think they're really important. They can't control their schedules, so they take it out on everybody else. They take risks that are unnecessary because of their poor planning. I'm not serious about that. I'm not serious that we should take away people's ability to drive themselves and make it autonomous, because I have issues with autonomous vehicles as well. But get real. It's important that we enforce the laws, all of them. Okay. Crystal says, oh, well, automated speeding tickets show up on an abstract. Automated speeding tickets will not. They are on your license plate or affiliated with your license plate, not your driver's license, because the cameras don't know who's driving. Okay, let's see here. Dave says, morning, Sean. It's true. Is it true that parking lots are still 50-50 at fault, or is that just a myth? Here's the thing. On private property, more often than not, it's 50-50 with fault because there's generally no witnesses, no video evidence. I would say that 99% of the time it's going to be 50-50, but if you have compelling evidence, you have a dash camera footage that you were hit when you were in the car, or the car was parked and you were hit. Obviously, if you were in an unoccupied car, or you weren't in the car because it was unoccupied, it was hit, that would be 100% the other person. If the other person did something that put them at fault and you could prove it, I would say it's not 50-50. But 50-50, when you talk about fault for the purposes of insurance companies, that's an insurance question. In terms of whether or not someone gets charged, very rarely, if ever, does anyone get charged in a parking lot, because the laws that they're breaking aren't enforceable on private property. The only thing that can be enforced on private property is stunt driving, careless driving, which is new, that was just added, and dangerous driving. But you can't get an improper turn charge on private property because it's not the highway, and those rules are specific to the highway. So the police will look at it and say this person caused the collision. Insurance companies would have to be convinced of that. And generally speaking, evidence by way of video camera, dash camera would be the way to go. But yeah, there's tons of collisions. We don't say accident, we say collision. Nick Lasagna joined. That's a great name, Nick. Okay. Dave says I'm good with the name. Okay, good. We got a dad joke from Dave for later. Let me just cut and paste that. Keeps wanting to know if I want to flag it for something. We got a question coming in from YouTube, and we'll get to you in just 1 second. That is a great question, Dave. We're going to come back to your question in just a second. Actually, I'm going to put your question on the screen. Cancel. I'm going to put it on the screen. It keeps wanting to know if I want to flag you for being naughty. You can do all sorts of guest management or viewer management things, and flagging you for something other than asking good questions is not something I want to do. Okay, back to things. We've got Josh Vader. How does the flag system work if a cop scans my plates if you have a high-risk driving record? How does the flag system work if a cop scans my plates? Okay, if a police officer is driving and whether the automated system pulls you up or you are or you're just being investigated so first of all, automated license plate readers, ALPR, do not actually search your history and look for at-risk drivers. They look for people who have stolen vehicles, suspended licenses, warrants, and things like that. If you're talking about, and by the way, Jeff, thank you for the gift. If you're talking about when a police officer runs your plate, can they see your history? They can. They'd have to do a little more digging. They'd see you immediately and be immediately notified if you had a suspended license. That would come up as a flag immediately and easy to see. If your license plate was expired or invalid, we would see that. But knowing your history would be a deeper dive. So let's say I pull you over for speeding, and then I start discussing things, and I ask for your ownership, your license, your insurance, and then I go back to the car and I go look at your history. I'm manually doing a search, and yeah, I'm going to see exactly what's going on. A little bit of water left in this water bottle. I got worried. I looked over in my water bottle stash. Oh, I forgot to bring a fresh one. No good. Okay. Let's scroll back here for a second. So, Mr. Inked Canada says, moving from Ontario to Nova Scotia, the lack of RCMP workers are insane. It's amazing how different jurisdictions police and how much person power they have. It's weird saying person power, but yeah, it's every jurisdiction is hurting for people. Police need to hire police everywhere, and now we're at the point where it's hard to hire police because there's not enough people who are qualified applicants. People want to go and make big bucks in computer stuff. They want to have freedom. They want to be self-employed. They want to be YouTubers. Anyway, just saying. It is tough to find people who want to show up for work every day, work in the elements days and nights and weekends, and put their lives at risk, and then put themselves in front of the potential of being charged for stuff. Generally speaking, it's tough. Let's see here. So, Josh, I think we covered your what they see when they pull you over, but let me know if there's something else you were looking for. You did have another question. I'll get to you in a sec. Mystic Live says, oh my gosh, it's Sean. It's been so long, man. Good to see you, or glad to see you. Glad to see you too. It's weird that you're just finding me though, because I'm here 5 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Since I left policing, I've basically continued to grow the days of the week that I'm covering live. And 3 days a week has become the regular. And then I just added Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. to cover off PM and make sure there's opportunities for folks who can't make it to the 10 a.m. live to still get in and chat. If you're watching and you don't know who I am, and that's possible, I don't know where you've been hiding, but my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff every single day. Well, 5 days a week. I take the weekends off. And apparently, because I talked about the 51st state, there is now a Get Info on Canada's federal election spiel on the screen to warn you that you can get information by clicking that linkity link in the thingamajig, which is great. There's an election coming. That's big. That's big stuff that I'm not talking about. Brandon says, good morning, Sean and all. I'm at home making some homemade sausages. Decided to take it easy this week. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Thank you very much, Brandon. And we got to connect for a meal. Gord Shumway says I could be a rabbi with this beard. Yeah, I suppose I could. I'm not, but I suppose I could if it was based on beards alone. Paul's dad joke. We'll flag that for later. Okay, we got here. My son got docked 10 points on his driver's exam by the instructor for doing 30 kilometers an hour in a school zone because of a rule not on the sign saying he should have been doing 50 and was impeding. So was the speed limit 50 or 30? And was he impeding? Was he holding up traffic for a kilometer? I'd like to know more. Sign stated 30 kilometers and no additional instructions are on that sign. If the sign said 30 kilometers an hour and they were doing 30 kilometers an hour in a 30 kilometer an hour zone, it sounds like the driving instructor has got some issues with understanding rules of the road. I would want to go back, confirm which sign and section they were in, and I'd want to go and ask for clarification in writing from the drive test people. Not that it matters. They do what they want. You have to know that the driving testers are not driving instructors. They are told to do certain things, and I don't know what they're told, actually. So I'd love to have somebody from Drive Test on the podcast. Speaking of which, what am I doing here? I'm going to go here, and then, oh, no, that's the book I'm reading. That's the guide I'm reading. That's me. Where did I put the book? Oh, here it is. Traffic Jam. Yeah, Traffic Jam is the podcast. This is the episode coming out today. $100,000 is something you could win. How? By participating in the Great Canadian Driving Games. What is the driving games? It's an app that you put on your phone and it tracks what you're doing. Acceleration, deceleration, cornering, if you touch your phone, etc. And what it does is it scores it, doesn't send it to the insurance or the police. It tells you what you're doing. It also anonymously shares that information with the Traffic Injury Research Foundation, and that allows you to be entered into the game for entries to win $100,000. And there's all sorts of mini games too. But today is the Traffic Jam podcast. That comes out at 1 p.m. on YouTube at VoiceOver Cop. Join me. Does that look like me? I think it looks. I think it needs to be a grayer beard, but I think it's pretty good. And if you look really, really close, even the seeds are cars. Raspberry seeds. I like raspberry jam. I'm not eating raspberry jam, but I do like it. No sugar for me. Not doing the sugar thing. Okay. I set that all up and I forgot that I did it. And then, well, hey, there you go. What does this button do? That's weird. Okay. What do we have next? Oh, Johnny, thank you for the gift. Appreciate you. Oh, Johnny, you sent a whole bunch of stuff. That's what is that? A baseball cap? A TikTok. I didn't even get to see the animation in action. Sadly, when I'm looking at this setup, I have multiple monitors going on here, and I can't see the animation. I get notified, but I don't see it live as it happens, which is really, I got to go back and watch it in the replay. Okay. We talked about this. We talked about that. Josh Vader says, been clean for over a year, and I learned my lesson and go to the track now. Yeah, if you want to speed, if you want to go fast, take it to the track. That's the way to do it. Legally. Now, last couple episodes, somebody has asked the same thing, and they said, well, promoting the track is great, but then the OPP hangs out by the track and hammers anyone that has an illegal car. But the illegal car part is the problem. If you have a vehicle that isn't street legal and you drive to the track, you are breaking the law, even though your intentions are good to take it to the track. If it's illegal for the road, trailer it there. I'm going to ration this like 2 ounces of water until the end of the show. Okay. Jeff says, when did they change the fault due to weather conditions if you hit black ice and crash? I don't think they've ever changed the fault. If you are driving your motor vehicle, you are responsible for everything that vehicle does. And there could be mitigating circumstances where there was, inclement weather that came out of nowhere. But if it's snowing or icy, you need to adjust your speeds accordingly. And if your vehicle isn't set up for the appropriate weather, like you're running summer tires in winter, that's a factor that makes you more responsible than you would have been otherwise. But you're still responsible for whatever happens. Like, even though you may not get charged for it, you are still responsible in terms of the insurance. So if you're driving at normal speed, if you're driving the speed limit on an icy day, you have not taken the appropriate precautions. You have not taken the appropriate precautions to reduce speed in lieu of or in light of the driving conditions. So if it's crappy outside, the speed limit is not the minimum; it's the maximum for ideal conditions. People got it wrong, so you got to slow down. You got to take sufficient care. That's the whole careless driving thing. The care and control, or care and attention. My apologies. Care and control is something else. It's dealing with impaired stuff. But that's the deal. You're responsible. So if you lock up the tires and smack into something, and even though you tried to stop, you didn't stop, then there's something else wrong. Hell something or other says, yeah, I'm not going to try. Yeah, no, I can't figure out your name. Can you smoke while driving is the question. And do you mean smoke drugs or smoke drugs, marijuana and drugs, same thing. So I guess the difference is there's illicit drugs that are not legalized under certain conditions. Obviously, you can't do those because just taking them is illegal. Then there is smoke marijuana, which is a conditional thing. It's legal in some circumstances, but it's an impairment form. So you can't even spark that if you were parked. You cannot have marijuana in your vehicle being used or accessible to the driver. So what's the next thing? Can you smoke a cigarette, tobacco, legal, or what is the puffy robot thing that people inhale? The deal is this: as long as it's not a work vehicle, because you're not allowed to smoke in a work premise, and that includes the vehicle. And if you're in a personal vehicle, you cannot smoke if there's someone under the age of 16 in the vehicle. But otherwise, you can smoke tobacco or inhale whatever that non-drug stuff is that smells like sparkles. Yeah, you can use them as long as there's nobody under the age of 16 and it's not a work vehicle. I don't know. I quit smoking many years ago. 1999, I think, was the last time I had a cigarette. Anyway. Norman says, test your water, put it in the freezer, it never freezes. Norman, I think you need to test your freezer because my freezer works just fine and water does, in fact, freeze. You cracked me up. Okay, Jeff says, my wife's doing 50 and an 80 due to snow, hits black ice, went in the ditch, hit a tree. Doing 50 and an 80 due to snow, hits black ice. Okay. So, insurance found her. Well, there's nobody else to be at fault. Yeah, you're at fault for the collision because they would say that you were going too fast for the road conditions. They can't blame the tree. They have to blame her. They can't say it's nobody's fault because she's the driver. So she was at fault even though she was not. So anytime it's one vehicle only, insurance will find you at fault because there's nobody else to blame. Subrogation, which is a term in insurance, is when they go after the other driver because they say it's their fault or there was a division of responsibility, but there's nobody else to blame if you're the only person. So yeah, you don't get a freebie. Now you might have accident forgiveness or collision forgiveness. That's a policy thing that you pay for, and it gives you your first one free usually. But that's about it. And yeah, I'm sorry to hear. I hope she was not injured. That crashes are not fun. Hell says regular cigars. Yeah, cigars can be smoked in a car too. So okay. So Hell says a police officer told him that you can't smoke in a car at all, alone. No, you that's not accurate. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. What jurisdiction? Because if you're in the province of Ontario, you absolutely can smoke in a car, provided it's not a work car. So a police car can't smoke in that. Can't smoke in a delivery truck. That's your place of work. And there's something called the Smoke Free Ontario Act, and that would apply inside of a work vehicle. Let's see here. Rayleigh Montreal says smoking while driving is a DUI, right? Correct? Like, right? Question mark. So smoking drugs like marijuana or drinking alcohol is two things. One, it's illegal to consume alcohol while driving or smoke drugs while driving. It's illegal to have open alcohol in a vehicle or open drugs in the vehicle. That's just on its own. Those are offenses under, one for the Cannabis Control Act and one for the liquor licensing, the LLA. Let's see, Liquor Licensing Act. Yeah. And then there's the actually being under the influence. So depending on whether you are impaired by drugs or alcohol, if you have over 80, if you're over 80 in terms, or 80 and over in terms of your BAC or blood alcohol content, that's against the law. So DUI is really the impairment side of things as opposed to simply smoking, because you may not be impaired if you just sparked it that second. So it depends on what charges you're going to get at the time that you get them. What do we got here? I mean, gardening, obviously, yes. Okay. Asking for a friend. Got it. Mississauga was in. Really? You got told you couldn't smoke a cigar in Mississauga in your car? Yeah, that's not a thing. Interesting though, but not a thing. Josh Vader says, what happens if you're driving work vehicle like a transport and hit someone in a personal vehicle? What happens if you are driving work vehicle like a transport and hit someone personally? They investigate the collision and they determine fault and you get charged. Now, because it's a CVOR vehicle, it also goes against the CVOR of the vehicle. CVOR is the commercial vehicle side of things, and that even if you don't get convicted, it'll impact the ability for them to keep that vehicle on the road and do all the things that they do with it. Okay, that just looks bad for the entire company, not just that vehicle. Okay, now let's go back to Arizzi. Rizzi had said something earlier on. I said we got to wait for a Rizzi opportunity, and that time is now. What TV show theme still slaps this very day? To this very day. Chips. Chips is still the best TV theme show ever played, ever, anything. No, it's the best. Chips. Anything else? No, Chips. Tell me if you think it's not Chips, you tell me which one it is that you think we'll discuss it. Oh, by the way, Spider says, hey, Brother Sean, what's going on, Spider? Sorry, I saw you, then I saw I'd come back to you, and then I didn't, so here I am. And then CC Brando says, good morning, Sean. Hope you're doing well. Thanks, Brando. I'm doing well. No complaints here. And we're talking about what TV theme show still slaps to this very day. It's a great question. I'll leave it on screen so people can throw their comments, their statements, their allegations, or whatever on the screen, and we'll go from there. Just looking to see what else we got new to talk about. And there was the Rizzi. I was still looking for a Rizzi. Hang on, looking for the Rizzi. That was the Rizzi. But there's more Rizzi. 1 second here. What's the other Rizzi? I'll have to wait for it. Let me find it, and then we talked about this, talked about that. He wants to know about crimes that you can commit that could be negotiated. Interesting. I'll flag this for later. All right. I got a couple of, he says the Cops animated theme song is amazing. I don't remember this. I don't remember the Cops animated. I'm Cops, Bad Boys by Chalk Circle. I think it was Chalk Circle. That's obviously an amazing song, and that definitely, my kids even like it. But does it compete to the intro in the 70s jazziness of Chips? I don't think there's anything better. Let's have a look at this video because while we think about stuff, I want to mute it because I don't want to get flagged for anything. Monterey. What is that? Could you imagine? This was sent to me and shocking. Like, let's just keep. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? And then amazingly was able to just continue about their day. I think they said it was the skateboarding. What is it? Does it say it on screen? Let's see. Maybe it was in the comments. I read that it was like, what do you call it with the skateboarding? Grinding the rails, or let's see. Does anybody know? I'm looking for the answer. What is that called if you were on a skateboard doing it? Either way, that's awesome and horribly illegal. Like you don't do that. I mean, what do you do? You're driving and that happens. What do you charge the guy with? I don't even know. That's just wild. Axle grind. Thank you. Axle grind. Yeah, because you're going to be on the trucks. Isn't it called the trucks? Okay. Like the trucks of the skateboard or blades or whatever you got. Oh my goodness. Cafe TO is happening again? Oh no. Kale's got a hard stop. He's got stuff and things to do. Okay. There was a couple of statements, a couple of suggestions for, no, come on. So Nicholas followed up on his own statement of what's the best show theme song. He says Cops animated theme song is amazing. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, DuckTales, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I would have said that. I mean, okay, I'm not impressed with the dude, but back then he was cool. Ghostbusters is awesome. What was it? What was the name of the guy who sang the original version? Something Junior. Anyway, I bought the 45. That's how old I am. Because I went to that movie. I loved Ghostbusters when it came out. Still love it. And Nicholas Rizzi even has the answer of, it's called axle grinding. Get with it. Oh, okay. Oh, and Flashpoint from Angel. I don't remember the theme song from that. I mean, it was amazing, but yeah, I don't remember the theme song. Okay, let me go back here. Rayleigh, you're welcome. Okay, caught that. Angel says, going to be going for G2 in October. Advice for the test coming up. And it was Ray Parker Jr. for the, thank you. I'm glad you remember that. Ray Parker Jr. saying Ghostbusters. And Akela says, Airwolf and A-Team were good. Yes, absolutely. And I like the preamble for A-Team. You know, mercenaries, they're accused of a crime they didn't commit. They are I can't remember it. I got to go read it now. I love it when a plan comes together. Hannibal Smith, best quote ever. So advice for going for your G2. Well, I would review the driver's handbook, which, by the way, takes a long time to read. Maybe in your head it's faster. I'm reading it, and it's the first chapter with the introduction and the first section of chapter 2 is about an hour so far of reading. So it takes a while, and I'm doing it chapter by chapter. If you go to my link in bio, you can actually click on the link to go to the directory, the playlist on my YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel, you can actually follow along. You can listen to me read it, and I think I'm going to try and get these through faster because I appreciate some people are on a time crunch. So I'm going to enlist the assistance of AI to do some reading, and I'm going to come in with some commentary, and I think that'll go better. We're going to try that tonight. But in terms of aside from reading and going over your skills, your book skills, I think the big thing is get good sleep. Don't be nervous. And I know you can't say just don't be nervous. That'll make you nervous. But if you sleep well, if you don't hyper focus on it, you've been driving for a long enough period of time that you've got skills and abilities. The big thing is to not be overtired because that'll stress you out. That'll keep you slow. You want to be on the ball. Listening is the biggest thing. Make sure you got the instructions right. And as silly as this sounds, go to the bathroom before your test. Don't be stressed out. Don't have to, be dancing to need to pee while you're out on this thing. So don't drink a whole lot of coffee. Don't drink a whole lot of water. Just try and have a chill day. Probably take the day so that you can focus on the test as opposed to be running from one appointment to the next, and be really early. I like early is good. But I had some other advice at one point. It's not coming to me. It's not coming. Things that I cannot remember when I want to remember them. If I can think of it, I'll come back to it. Justin Nakatsuka says, motorcycle skills test tomorrow. I think I'll do okay. Are you talking about you're doing your M2 to get your full M? What are you doing? Is it the M1 exit test? What are you doing? Or are you doing a policing test? Let me know. I'm curious. Okay. If you don't already follow me, please do follow me on all the channels that I go live on. YouTube being the most important right now. I love TikTok and it's fantastic, but I have content that is only available on YouTube. Long form content like the episode that is going out. Where's the button? Right here. No, I can't show you on this one. I have to go here and then here. Yes, Traffic Jam podcast that airs today, 1 p.m. It is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be awesome. It's Traffic Jam, the Great Canadian Driving Games is the episode where listening to the magical people who both created the app and the people who are benefiting from the research from TIRF, the Traffic Injury Research Foundation. They are putting on a competition that runs until September 14th. You can get in now, and by playing, all you have to do is drive safely. And you accumulate points by safely driving, and those points go to entries into a draw. The draw goes for $100,000, but they have mini games too, lots of stuff, even daily trivia stuff. It's just a good thing. Just a good thing. Okay, what do we have here? Josh Fader, what's your favorite detective show? Mine is either Dexter or The Mentalist. Oh, I like both of those. I really do like Dexter. The Mentalist I haven't watched in a long time, but I really appreciated The Mentalist as well. I in terms of comedies, there was one that was where he pretended to be psychic. I think it was like a Hulu show or something. I think it's a green logo. It was two private detectives, and he had a photographic memory, so he just pretended to be psychic, and that was their spiel. I think it was great. I watched the entirety of the with that Blue Bloods, loved Blue Bloods. Watching The Rookie still, I think it was just approved for the 8th season. I like police dramas. I like them. There was a new one on Prime that I watched. I think it was on Prime. Okay, but not fantastic. And then, of course, I criticize the ones that do it wrong. Like, I even sent emails to the folks at The Rookie. I'm like, GoPros are not in-car cameras. Get with it. That sucks. So they didn't change it. Anyway, yeah, I do like the shows. Okay. Oh, earlier I saw a message talking about dash cameras and totally ignored it. And I think it was Akela who said his dash cam, scrolling back. My dash cam broke? Did I read that right? I think my dash cam broke. See, look at that. That only happened at 10:08. I'm just remembering now. That's possible. They do eventually fall apart. They stop working. I had a Blackview camera that I loved, stopped working. I replaced it with a ThinkWare U1000. Used it for a year and a month, stopped working. Contacted the company. They said, try a new wire. It wasn't the issue. They said they'd give me like a 40% off if I bought a new one. I ended up buying a new one, not through them. I got it at auction, so it worked out well. So I bought another U1000. So they do fail after a while. And think about it, on 24/7 for years, or in my case, a year before it failed. They go through a lot. You don't have to buy the most expensive one, but having one to protect you is a really good idea. I, of course, like the ThinkWare U1000, which is now the new replacement is the U3000. Not cheap. I just told a friend of mine to go buy one. They're not cheap. Let's see here. What is your opinion on current firearms laws that target legal owners and hunters, not criminals? Well, I think they're garbage. I don't think they're appropriate. I am a legal firearm owner who's been shooting target and sport since I was 16 years old. And I don't plan on changing that. I don't like. I obviously won't vote my rights away. So that's a thing too. Every chief of police, except for the ones who are possibly speaking on behalf of the RCMP, are saying that this is a sham. They know that the criminal elements are using guns smuggled from other places, not Canadian lawful gun owners. So it's yeah, I think it's a joke. Oh my goodness, yeah. The only time I go political when we talk about that stuff. Ridiculous. Okay. Going on, sliding down. We talked about this, talked about that. Dad joke for later. So Nicholas says, oh, this is the joke, not a joke. This is a discussion question from Dave. Interesting topic just for fun. What was your first car everybody owned? Mine was a 1998 Ford Escort. I remember the Ford Escort well. That was not my first car. My first car that was truly mine was a hand-me-down from my mom. It was a burgundy Buick Park Avenue. Buick Park Avenue with an air ride suspension. It was a great car. Power seats that almost worked. By the time I got it, it was quite old, but it was I don't remember the year. But it was of the 80s or 90s. Maybe it was a 91. Maybe. In any case, what was your first car? Norman's was a 1972 Cougar XR7. I recognize that vehicle. Peter John William, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. What was your first car? That is the question we're discussing. Akela's was a 1980 a 1980 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme V8 Coupe. Was that the Cutlass Supreme? No kidding. Okay. Checking our time, we've got 15 minutes or 14 minutes, just over 14 minutes before I got to go, and before Akela's got to go because he's got a presentation to do. Our timing is good. Ola says, "Wait, former since when? Since the end of August 2024. That was my last day officially. I left." Technically, it was the beginning of September on paper, but yeah, that's when I left the police service, and it was just before I turned 50. So it was a wild change of events. Not something I originally planned on doing, but there was events in my life that made it appropriate. I got to be home to take care of family more, and it made the very tough decision to leave something I love very much, which is the police service. Anybody else with their very first car? That's what we're talking about before we move on to other topics. We can still move on. Oh, we got Josh Vader, who says the first car was a 2003 Buick Century and now a Pontiac G8 2009. Hala, I said Ola before. It was Hala, who says 2009 Mercedes B-Class was the first car. Not a bad one. Angel says mine and my husband's was a 2014 Ford Fusion, which we have now, just bought it 2 weeks ago. Ford Fusion. I haven't seen those in a while. I remember these cars were like they came out. Hala says, thanks for your service. Thank you for the thank you. Yeah, you know what? I got to say, I love all the old cars. Like I have a friend of mine that had the Eagle Talon that he got and just wowed everybody. It was a crazy car for the time. Just really interesting, you know. But I have a friend of mine who kept buying Saabs. He bought after Saab wasn't even like available anymore. I don't think they're making cars anymore. But he bought Saabs, and they were just weird cars at the time. They were cool, weird cars, but weird. And then he bought what do you have? He had a 300Z, I think. Oh, I don't know. I have to use my my history brain. My old school memory doesn't work. Oh, Norman says my first car with no insurance was a 1970 Maverick with back brakes only. Yeah, that sounds dangerous. Okay. What do we got here? Let me scroll back to catch up to where I was. Dash cam issue was the memory card. Those do fail. And then, that was what started happening with my Blackview, is it started having memory issues. It would reboot every 5 seconds. So yeah, I replaced the card, didn't fix it. Could fix it, didn't fix it in my situation. Okay. Nicholas says, does Canadian law enforcement have an X-Files department? I don't know. They didn't talk to me about the alien investigations. He then goes on to say that his favorite detective movie is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You just liked Mrs. Rabbit. It was a great movie, and I loved the actor who, sadly, I think he passed away from a heart condition, but what a great actor was in that. Oh, let's see here. Josh Vader, I loaded it up. Josh Vader sent me a dash camera clip. And I set it up for the show, and I did. Now, this is, I wish I could make it bigger. He's doing 50 on the road, and he gets passed like he isn't moving by a car that just has somewhere to be. What do? Well, you do what you're doing, which is driving legally and lawfully. It's the same thing. Yeah. Driving the right way. You're on the right lane. You let them pass. You do their thing. You're driving your drive. But how do you feel about that? You're following the law. You're not speeding. And then someone buzzes by you at a pretty good clip above your speed limit or above your speed. What do? You don't do anything. You let them keep doing what they're doing. But they are absolutely in the wrong. Okay. Dad joke, save it for after. Yeah, save. If you've got a dad joke you were thinking about saving for after dark, definitely save it for that. He goes on to say his very first car was a Power Wheels. I got to buy one of those for my kid. 77 T-Bird from Gord Shumway. Paul says a 68 MG Midget. My neighbor was the president of the MG Car Club of Canada for a very long time. And I got to see so many cool MGs over my years of being his neighbor. And at one point he chopped an MG in half and turned it into a trailer. And his son now has the car. It's fantastic. Okay. We got this, we got that. Bob Hoskins. Yes, that is the chap. What a fantastic actor. Okay. Do I watch crime documentaries on Netflix? I can't say that I have. I don't have a lot of time for television. That said, I did watch the final episode of, was it 1923, which is the one currently on or now finished. Wow. That's all I got to say. Wow. That's a story that I mean, really enjoying all the Yellowstone stuff, and I was really, really heartbroken with the close of the episode 7. I didn't want it to end like that. If you haven't watched it, you'll have to watch it to know what I'm talking about. Then we can talk about it later. If you're watching and you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about whatever you want to talk about, but primarily it's about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And sometimes we talk about movies and TV shows and theme music and all sorts of things. Now, I am here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Again, primarily traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go live at 9 p.m. And that's where we do the After Dark thing. And we're talking about the same stuff, but a little more chill. And I usually have a guest. Now, that guest has been Logan Grant for the last couple of weeks, and Logan is on vacation this week. So I believe Brian Max may be joining me on one of the nights, and we'll see who's joining me on the other night. But yeah, it could be anyone. Brian Max, by the way, is a professional race car driver, a car journalist. He owns a race team. He's one of the principals of a race team, I should say. That's he's got a heck of a resume. He's an awesome guy. Dave says Baywatch is his favorite song. I'm hoping that's not his favorite detective show. And CC Brando says a buddy of mine wants to become a police officer. He has over 20. What? Oh, he has a 20 over speeding ticket. He wants to know if it will prevent him from being hired or what would he need to do before applying. One ticket for going 20 over will not end his career opportunities. I think your buddy's going to be okay. He's going to make it. Yeah, at least that's not the reason he won't make it. So the deal is that you must have no more than 6 demerit points on your license in order to be eligible to be hired. You would be rejected if you had more than 6 demerit points. Oh, look at this. TPS wants to verify that I am who I say I am. Hang on a second. I'm just going to go to the page to talk briefly about becoming a police officer. Okay, here we go. TPS.ca/careers will get you to this page where you can look into police constable, special constable, parking enforcement officer, communications operator, anything like that. But when you scroll through, you will see that there's all sorts of stuff that you need to meet the requirements. And when you get to the one about driving, it says here, where is it? Maybe it's further down. Here it is. Possess a valid driver's license with no more than 6 accumulated demerit points, permitting you to drive an automobile in Ontario with full driving privileges. That's the minimum. So obviously, if you have a horrible driving record, that could prevent you from getting hired. But one ticket for 20 over, that's 3 demerit points. You're still okay. And demerit points do expire after 3 years. So if it was 3 years ago, it won't even be an issue. But disclose your entire driving history. They're going to ask you, have you ever had a speeding ticket? You say, yeah. You're honest. Tell your friend to jump into the live stream when we're here and ask more stuff and things. What else do we have here? Auxiliary officer. If you're looking for an amazing opportunity to volunteer, this is it. This is how I started with the Toronto Police Service. I became an auxiliary officer. Then I became an auxiliary sergeant. That was at the same time I was being a special constable, or it was actually called court officer then. And then I became a supervisor. Those were the 2 things that I traded into to become a police constable. Now let's see what the civilian roles postings look like. You don't have to put on a uniform to serve your community. You can do it by way of joining the police service as a civilian. Now, the 2025 Youth and Policing Initiative, that's the YIPPY program, after school fall program. This is where kids, young people, youth can join on a contract as a youth and policing person. They get paid, I don't know, is it $15 an hour? $17.20, holy moly. And you get to learn stuff and things. And I met Crystal on Saturday when I went to 43 Division to present to a number of young persons who are getting their driver's licenses. So we talked about stuff and things at 43 Division where they're running the program. And Crystal was there. She's a talented artist, and she is also a YIPPY member. So, anyone can do this. And it's a great program. To qualify, you need to read about what those requirements are, but check it out. If you know someone who's a young person that might be interested in joining the program, but for those career-minded folks who want to get a job today, intermediate programmer analyst in IT and communications operator are also open postings. Awesomeness. Yeah, check back regularly. These things post, they go up, they go down, and if you miss it, it's gone. You miss the opportunity, it's finished. Let's see here. Sean, can you give a shout out to all the hydro workers, service workers, and anybody that helped with the ice storm this last week that impacted a good portion of Ontario? Absolutely. For the folks and my friends, he's my friend's big boy, his son. He's a monster. He's working at doing that. He runs all over the place to ensure that Ontarians have power, and he's gone outside of the province to help out when there have been emergencies too. The folks who help keep the lights on are the unsung heroes. They don't get the respect and appreciation that they deserve. So thanks to them. And if you do that, thanks to you. Let's see here. Oh, so let me scroll back because I think I missed a couple things. Okay. Hala says, you should get paid for this by TPS. You know what? We've talked about me coming back. Who knows? Maybe one day. But right now I'm doing this under the whole better traffic concept. I've started a not-for-profit organization that wants to keep doing the traffic safety education, and we want to do it with the assistance of private funding as opposed to taking taxpayer dollars. Because when I was doing this as a police officer, people would say, I can't believe you're wasting taxpayers' dollars for this. And then I would simply say, this is the best way to talk to the most number of people, creating an archive of education that will live on forever. And it's far more efficient than just waiting at a street corner to talk to someone who has a simple question. When someone can ask this question, I can talk to hundreds of people at the same time. But that said, doing it privately takes that the wind out of the sails on that allegation. Yeah, but I appreciate you. Okay. Hala says, what about jobs in office? Do we need to go to the police college? So jobs in office, when we're talking about being a communications operator, there is training. If you're talking about being an administrator, then there might be some training, but it's not going to the police college necessarily. Well, the police college is our hub of training. So there are courses, even a word course used to be at the police college because that's our college. But it's not like going to the Ontario Provincial Police College or Ontario Police College. Malcolm wants to know if parking tickets and speeding tickets expire. So they're very different things. Parking tickets are written against your vehicle and the owner, and speeding tickets are written against the driver. So when you are convicted of speeding, it goes on your record, and it is a permanent record for the government to see. For insurance companies, they only see the current 3 years, and the conviction expires from that list. That's 3 years. That window that insurance companies see expires from that after 3 years, but it's part of your permanent driving record. In terms of parking tickets, they don't change anything. Like, yeah, you have to pay your tickets, but they don't impact your driver's license. Yes. Hala says, if we don't want to work front line, do we need to go to the police? No, I totally get what you're saying. You want to work as a civilian. So civilians generally don't go to the police college for any course. And then let's see here. Oh, that's Norman talking about contracts. Okay. Hala says, actually, public relations is very important for public trust, which is crucial to serve and protect. I absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree. Okay. With only a few minutes left, actually like less than a minute left to hit that 11 o'clock mark, I want to get into some dad jokes and stuff and things. Thank you for hanging out with us for the hour. Dave says it's dad joke time. Absolutely. It's dad joke time. And let's see, just catching a bunch of things that Akela was mentioning. Lunch on Thursday, possibly. Oh, Nicholas is ready to work for the Toronto Police X-Files section. Oh, Magnum PI, absolutely. Both a great detective show and theme song. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Brandon says, both my Mustang and my Corvette are completely stocked because that way I never have a problem leaving the track. Absolutely a good plan. Paul wants to know if Sarge is coming for a visit. I would love that. Let's see here. All right, here we go. We're going to go into dad jokes. Oh, and one last thing before we do dad jokes. I have one last video. And Fully Loaded says, sent you a DM looking for an officer's opinion. I'll check it out and get back to you. Here's a video that I thought was fantastic. And we talk about takeovers. Takeovers being the adults who go and literally use the intersections and parking lots as drift tracks. Check this out. And I hope it comes through as clear. Watch. I'm taking off the music because I don't want to get a hit, but that is wild. What is he wearing? But let's watch that again. Boom, hits the curb, and bye wheel. I mean, it's an aluminum wheel, or was an aluminum wheel. That didn't go well. Okay, I can't watch that enough. I think I've watched this 50 times already. Just a little kiss. So what do you think that's worth? Aside from the stupidity of the entirety of this video. And for what? How cool did he look? I don't think he looked cool at all. Yeah. Okay, I can stop looking at that. Let's do dad jokes. He says, no front plate. I imagine that was in the United States. Okay. I'm a professional counterfeiter. This is dad joke. I'm a professional counterfeiter. Look, I even have the documents to prove it. I'm a professional counterfeiter. Look, I have the documents to prove it. I get it. I like it. It's all right. Is the best joke? No, but I like it. There are two kinds of people in the world: those who can extrapolate meaning from incomplete data. Wrong button. I love this one, by the way. It's as a t-shirt that I want to buy that says this. There are two kinds of people in the world. One, those who can extrapolate meaning from incomplete data. Does anyone want to finish it for me? And two, those who cannot. I love that one. Star Wars dad joke. Where does the Emperor wash his hands when he's... What is this? Where does the Emperor wash his hands when he's on Mustafar? I guess you'd have to know that Mustafar has a particular kind of environment because he would use the lavatory. I'm assuming Mustafar has volcanoes and lava. They come from a calendar. It's not his fault. Just that one didn't hit. Let's see here. Dad, this is a dad joke. I forgot who sent it to me, though, but I took it, and I'm going to post it now. Which Jedi becomes a rock star? Bon Jovi-Wan Kenobi. I just was wearing my hood when I did a little preview video today, walking around. I was wearing a hood, and I thought I had Obi-Wan vibes. If you watch the video, you know what I'm talking about. Paul had a dad joke. Man addicted to brake fluid says he can stop anytime. I like that. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. Dad joke. Did you know this? Did you know there are 3 types of rings in a relationship? Engagement ring, wedding ring, and suffering. Not every relationship is like that, but certainly I know people who have relationships that are like that. I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful one. Not just because she's watching. Okay, quote, being nice to others reveals character if and only if it is optional. Being nice to others reveals character if and only if it is optional. That's so deep. It is. It's deep. Okay. I don't know what we're talking. Is there? Oh, we got crime questions. This is just a question that I missed. When a cop pulls me over and takes my license and insurance to their car, what are they looking up? What exactly pops up? Does an alert pop up that says, warning, this driver might ask extremely stupid questions, approach with caution? There could be there could be that kind of warning. So if you have a history of anything that turned into reports, those reports would be flagged and they would be able to see, well, this person was actually investigated for XYZ. And if you were investigated for asking stupid questions, which generally I don't believe those exist. I think all questions are good questions. But yeah, that is entirely possible. Okay. What does this say? How shared one dad joke. I think it's a dad joke, or it's just funny. We'll put it on screen. Traffic cop left me a note to let me know I'd positioned my car correctly. It said parking fine. Yes. Fully loaded like that one. You have that Jeff Durbin beard. That's Blicky who thinks so. I will have to go look at a Jeff Durbin to understand what you're talking about. And I think we're it. I think we're at the end. I think we've covered the day. I think it's been a lot of fun. We're only 6 months into overtime. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern time to do this all over again for Ask a Traffic Cop After Dark, that 9 p.m. show that allows the magic of chatting about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff, and often gets into cars. And tomorrow, if if tomorrow becomes the day that that my friend Brian Max joins us, it will no doubt be about racing and performance vehicles, because that's what he's all about. So we'll have the perspective of a professional driver, not an officer. He is someone who is going to talk about things that he knows about, and we'll apply that to the everyday life of you. See how it works. Now, remember today I've got the amazing, the fantastic, the spectacular launch of season 2 of Traffic Jam Podcast. And what does that mean? It means that we are launching, or leading with, the Great Canadian Driving Games. Yes, you could win $100,000 simply by loading an app onto your phone, signing up, and then driving around safely. It records all your car movements, and you're playing for that $100,000 grand prize. What an amazing opportunity. And I have to tell you, it has made me ridiculously, overly safe. I was already someone who didn't speed. I didn't drive aggressively. Occasionally I would maybe make a little more aggressive maneuver, not an illegal maneuver, not an unsafe maneuver, but a little more aggressive. And now I'm in full grandpa mode. Oh yeah, I'm taking it easy, taking it slow. Know where I need to be. I want top score. You see, this game, and I talk about it in the episode, but I'm all about winning. I want to have the highest score. And what a genius way to motivate people to drive according to the rules, by giving you a score of how well you did. You start to measure everything you do. So I want you to go check it out. There's a link to actually download the app if you go to trafficcop.ca, but you could just watch the episode and you'll get all that information at 1 o'clock. All right. Have a great day. Drive safe. Be safe. Sober. Park legally. Do all the stuff that you're supposed to do. And that way you're going to be around for a long, long time, because if you do the stuff that's dangerous, it might not go so well. I want you to be around for a long, long time, so you can join me on the next episode of Ask a Traffic Cop. Have a great day.